It's a new week and we're at the Home Depot. Let's go see what they've got. The first thing that caught my eye is these beautiful foxglove. The bees are all over them. They have like this pink color and a creamy yellow. Really pretty. Let's see what they're called. These are full sun perennials. They're called Digitalis hybrid Arctic fox. They get 18 to 24 inches tall and wide, and these are $8.98. Something you want to keep in mind with foxglove is that they are biennial. There are very few varieties that are actually perennial. So if you buy these at the garden center this year and they don't come back for you next year, that's likely why. They typically, start all their foliage the first year, and then they will send up their bloom stalks the second year, and then they're typically done. But they are beautiful to enjoy while they last. They have these beautiful coral bells. I bought one last year, and I believe I'm going to pick up two more so that I have a grouping of 3. These are called Coral Bells Carnival Watermelon, and they're all sorts of shades of pinks and a little bit of orange and apricot. Really pretty. And it has a mounded habit. They attract butterflies. They bloom early to late spring, 10 to 12 inches high, and about 14 to 16 inches spacing. And these need water a couple of times a week. They are mostly shade, I find, with these, because if you have them in too much sun, they will start to leaf scorch. You'll start to get burnt edges on your foliage, and that's how you know the sun is too much for them. But look how pretty the color on these are. Really beautiful. So they are listed as part sun, so keep that in mind when planting these. Mine are currently getting a little bit too much sun, so I've had to shade them a bit. They also have this variety, Coral Bells Carnival, and this one is more on the red side. In terms of size, it also blooms early to late spring, 10 to 12 inches tall and wide, hardy down to -30. And when they say that these bloom, the bloom on these are just these little wiry stems that come up with these very airy little blooms. They almost look like a baby's breath in different colors. See, these are a bit more red. They have some fountain grass Hamlin, and this is the variety that I recently showed in my part shade, part sun garden. I had some, I bought one of these and I divided it in a couple of pieces, and now I'm up to 3. But these bloom early summer to fall, and blooming on grasses means they send up those fuzzy plumes. And these get about 24 inches high and need about a 24-inch spacing, hardy to -20 degrees. Really nice, compact grass that offers a lot of textural interest to your planting beds. Right on the side of them, there's some lily turf. This one's called Silvery Sunproof, Liriope muscari. These are $10.98. It's also a tufted grass, like a little clump of grassy texture. These bloom late summer to fall, and they send out these, most of them are a purple bloom spike, and the height is 15 to 18 inches tall and wide, hardy to -20. And these are part sun. But this variegated foliage is really pretty. Again, these are $10.98. These are by Vigoro. Here's a really beautiful grass, but this one is only annual, so it won't come back for us here in my zone 6B. It's this really dark foliage, and this is pretty to plant this time of year, and then it maintains its color and looks really beautiful in the fall as well. So this one gets 24 to 36 inches tall and wide, and this is what it looks like. And this one is full sun. This Liriope is not variegated, but this is what the bloom spikes look like. This one is the Lily Turf Super Blue. It's $10.98. Again, well, this one is a part sun, where the grass we just looked at, the purple fountain grass, is full sun. But this is a perennial, and it is part sun. And they stay relatively small. So this one gets 18 to 24 inches tall and wide, -10 hardiness. Here's a plant with really pretty variegated foliage. This is called Loosestrife Alexander. I actually have this one in my garden. And while I don't prefer yellow blooms, these are actually really pretty. It's a nice contrast with the foliage. These are a part sun plant. They get 18 to 24 inches tall and wide, and hardy to -30, and it blooms midsummer to fall. So if you deadhead it, if you take off the spent blooms, you are more likely to get more continuous blooming. Here's a really pretty Coreopsis in this beautiful dark shade of red. This one is tickseed Coreopsis hybrid, and this one's called Permathread Red Satin, and it gets 15 to 18 inches tall and wide, and it is hardy to -20 and blooms early to late summer. This one is a full sun plant. Here's another really beautiful tickseed or Coreopsis. This one is yellow with that burgundy center. Let's see what this one is called. Full sun, 14 to 16 inches tall and wide, -20 degrees hardiness, and blooms early summer to mid-fall. This one is called Superstar, and it's $8.98. Look how pretty this grouping is. The Alexander Loosestrife with this dark red Coreopsis with this red and yellow Coreopsis. Really pretty if you have a garden with these warm colors. And here's another variety of tickseed. This one is a little bit smaller, along the lines of that first red one we looked at, but it has the yellow with the burgundy as well. And it's right on the side of this really beautiful moonshine yarrow. This yarrow is really unique because it has this blue-gray foliage. So let's check these two out. So this tickseed, the yellow and burgundy with the smaller bloom, is called Uptick, and it gets 12 to 14 inches tall and wide, and -20 hardiness. Blooms late spring through fall. So this yarrow is called Moonshine, and it gets 18 to 24 inches tall and wide, and it's only needs water when it's dry once established, and it's hardy to -40 degrees, blooms early to late summer. And again, here's that really pretty blue-gray kind of shade of green foliage. These are full sun. I'm really liking this combination of yellow with red. They even have this really pretty verbena and this Gara next to it. This would be a butterfly paradise. And there's bees all over these. This pretty white Gara is called Beliza, and it gets to be 12 to 18 inches tall and wide, hardy to -10, and blooms in early spring to fall. Here in my zone 6B, I've planted Gara a couple of times, but I've never been successful in getting it to come back. It could have been the way I planted it, it could be my weather here in New England, but it's a really pretty airy plant. They also have this catmint. This one's called Junior Walker. So instead of the Walker's Low version that they sometimes carry, they have this Junior Walker, which is a shorter, more compact version of this catmint. So this one gets to be 16 to 18 inches tall and wide, and it is hardy down to -20, and it blooms late spring to fall, and these are full sun. This is more in line with the Proven Winners Cat's Pajamas. Really pretty, like violet blue shade of purple. Look at this beautiful display garden they have here at the Home Depot. They have some coneflower and some autumn joy sedum and a beautiful butterfly bush in the back there. Really pretty. Here's what the blooms on coral bells look like. These little floral spikes that come up from the plant. So this is another variety they have outside. This one is called Coral Bells Apricot. Heuchera apricot. The tag says Heuchera peach. This is a number 3 for $19.98. In my last Home Depot video, I mentioned that I wasn't keen on this larger container for $20 because if I wanted to get a grouping of 3 of these, now it's going to cost me $60. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger, but I could get 3 smaller ones for that $8.98 to $10.98 price point and pay essentially half the price. So the specs on these are, this one blooms midsummer. Now, summer just started for us, but because these are grown in a greenhouse, their plants are always going to be more advanced than they would be in our own gardens. And so the height is 8 to 12 inches tall and wide, and it needs a 15 to 18 inch spacing, hardy to negative 40 degrees. It does say full sun, but I would go part sun with these because otherwise the foliage will start crisping up, looking like this, and you'll have to remove it, and before you know it, you have half a plant left. But the color on this foliage is really pretty, and the bloom spikes are beautiful as well. They have some of these Hydrangea Strawberry Sundae. These are panicle type hydrangeas. This is by First Editions, and these are $34.98. These could use a little bit of a cleanup. Let's see how big they get. Large blooms, garden showpiece. So they bloom midsummer to fall. They get 36 to 48 inches tall and wide, hardy to negative 40, and likes well-drained soil and water new transplants. And that's how they look. They are beautiful shades of vanilla pink and vanilla, which is like a creamy ivory, and really, really pretty. I've seen these, I've seen the Proven Winners one before, but not this First Editions variety. Reminds me of like the Pinky Winky. They have some apricot drift roses, and these are really nice as a ground cover rose. So they're very low growing, and you know, they create like a little tufted mound. These are $16.98, and let's see if we can read the size on these. It says to space them 2 to 3 feet apart. They don't get very large. If you have one, you can comment below, but my guess is going to be they're going to get 1.5 to 2 feet tall and wide. Really pretty. These look to be about a 1-gallon container for $16.98. Aha! They have some Tough Stuff Aha Mountain Hydrangea. These are the Proven Winners. And these are a really nice compact mountain type hydrangea. And mountain type just means that they have like these serrated type blooms. They're not like the clumps that are the full of blooms like some of the other type of hydrangeas. They're more airy. Let's read the specs on these. So these get to be about 2 to 3 feet tall and wide. They are hardy in zones 5 through 9 down to a negative 20 degrees. And these are sun and part shade. Really pretty. And now depending on your soil pH, whether or not your soil is acidic or not will depend whether you get the blue or the pink blooms on these. You know, it's either going to be blue or that mix of like a pinky purple. These are a 3-gallon size for $34.98. Now, for those of you who are daylily lovers, there are people who either love them or hate them. I'm somewhere in between. I love the blooms. I'm not a huge fan of how the foliage starts to get looking like that. But I do have a large amount of them in my garden. But look how pretty this one is. Let's see what the name is. I will tell you that this is a humongous container of number 5 for $24.98. That is a really good price for the size of this. There's so many division points in here. You can easily buy this and get a minimum of 5 plants if I had to guess. Okay, there was no name on this beauty, but there's a couple others that do have names. So let's go check those out. And I am so tempted to start deadheading these plants. Okay, here's another absolutely beautiful one. Again, this one has no tag. It is a 5-gallon container for $24.98. Gorgeous. In terms of information on these, you can gather that they're going to be pretty tall based on what they look like in the container. So these would be mid or back of the border if you were planting them. And these are absolutely stunning. These do have a tag, so let's check it out. This one is called Daylily Judy Judy. It is a full sun perennial. It's clump forming, so it'll look like little clumps of grass, really. And these are early to late summer, 28 inches tall, space them 18 to 24 inches apart, hardy to -40. These beautiful apricot orange daylilies are the Rainbow Rhythm Orange Smoothie by Proven Winners, and they get to be about 2 feet tall by 2 feet wide. And these are in a 3-gallon container, and let's see how much they are. They are $24.98, and these are a full sun perennial. Here is a really beautiful ground cover. I actually have this one in my garden. This one's called Carpet Buggleweed Burgundy Glow Ajuga, and I love the foliage on this. So pretty. So this one blooms early to late spring. It's about 6 inches tall, and it is hardy to -40 degrees. Part sun. So these send out these really beautiful, almost like an electric blue bloom spike in about spring, and they are really pretty, and they spread nicely for me. They have all kinds of different shades of color, and these here are 1 gallon, and they're $9.98. And look what I just found here, this beautiful tri-colored beech. Now this thing is not looking like it's in really pristine shape or anything, but it's a really unique tree, and it is 50% off. So I am going to see about maybe grabbing this one. Look at the foliage on this. Gorgeous. I feel like I would be kind of taking a risk even at 50% off, because it doesn't look to be in awesome shape, but it is so pretty. They have one more, and this one actually looks to be in better shape than the other one. So it is $89.98. So here's the other one. This one looks a little bit worse for the wear, but look at the specs on this one. So it is a full sun tree, European beech, tricolor, deer resistant, gets 20 to 30 feet tall, and it is hardy to -30 degrees. Really pretty. And look what showed up. Hardy hibiscus. These things are absolutely stunning. If you like those tropical looking flowers and you tend to buy those hibiscus for your patio each year, if you have the space, it would be worth the investment, because these things produce these gorgeous blooms for you every year. This one is the Summerific Holy Grail. So it is dark foliage with a red bloom. These are huge dinner size blooms. They need a lot of space, so 48 to 54 inches. They are full sun, and they get so they get really big, 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, and they need full to part sun. Okay, and they bloom midsummer through early fall. These are late to bloom, so usually around August these start blooming in my garden, and late July, August, and then they go through September. And this foliage alone is reason to grow it. Look how beautiful that is. Let's see how much these are. So these are $24.98, and they're a 3-gallon size. They come in various colors. I don't have the Holy Grail because I don't have any red in my garden, but I do have the Perfect Storm and the Evening Rose, which is a beautiful fuchsia pink. Really pretty. They have some Proven Winners grasses. This one is called Cheyenne Sky, and let's see. It gets about 36 inches tall, and it blooms in late summer, which is when it sends up its plumes, and it's hardy in zones 4 to 9 or -25 degrees. Full sun, and it looks like the plumes have a little bit of a reddish tint to them. You can see them here in the photo. These are 3-gallon size containers for $24.98. And you can see it already sends up some of this reddish looking grass. Really pretty. They have lots of figs here at my store, and it looks like these are 50% off according to the tag here. This one is called Brown Turkey, and the size varies, and it's hardy to 10 degrees. I have one here in my zone 6 in Massachusetts, and I have to bring it in and out of the basement, and for all the effort and care I've given that thing, not one fig in 3 years. So I'm a little salty about the fig trees, but they do have really pretty foliage. And if you get some figs, nothing like a fresh picked fig. Delicious. All of these evergreens here in my store are still 50% off. I know that I've had some comments in some of my videos that the sales do vary by location. Something you might want to check on if you're making a trek out to the store. But really pretty ones. I am partial to the red and blue conifers. So this one here is a false cypress golden mop. It needs 36 to 48 inches spacing, hardy to -30, and water at least once a week until established. Really pretty. You can't beat that color and texture, and gives you something to look at in the winter months when nothing else is in bloom. This really pretty golden euonymus. Look at the foliage. It has these like what are called like blooms, really tiny little blooms there. And these claim to get about 36 inches, hardy to -10, but I've seen these get a lot larger, so proceed with caution. On a couple of our shopping trips, we have talked about this Puxter blue butterfly bush, and they hadn't been in bloom, but look at these beauties now. If you have a smaller garden, or even, just limited on planting space, this is a perfect option for a small butterfly bush. So this one, and I can smell it, like it smells so fragrant. Very similar to the fragrance of a lilac, in my opinion. So this one here is called the Puxter Blue. I have a blue and amethyst. And look at these. This will bloom for you from now in summer all the way through your first hard frost in the fall. Continuous blooms. So if they start looking kind of tattered like this, all you do is just snip it back, and then there's no shortage of new blooms coming up right behind them. Look at that. Beautiful. So here are the specs on this one. This one here is a 3-gallon container for $34.98, and these like full sun, and they get to be about 2 feet tall and wide. I highly recommend these. I have them and I love them. Mine is just starting to put on blooms, so really great shrub. They are hardy in zones 5 through 9 to -20 degrees. They don't like to sit in water. So I have a bed that tends to get a little bit wet. We actually have to work on improving the drainage. And I had to cut mine way back this year. It is rebounding, but it's going to be a little bit behind because of that. So something to keep in mind if you plant it, either plant it a little bit high or in well-draining soil. A really beautiful butterfly bush. They have some of this woolly thyme that's a ground cover. It smells really nice, and it blooms early to late summer, 4-inch height, 8 to 10 inch spacing, -30 hardiness. Full sun. It has a really nice fuzzy kind of texture, so I guess that's where it gets the woolly from. And it is very fragrant. It smells really nice. So this one gets about 4 inches, so I don't know if it would be ideal like the other creeping thyme that you would put between paved stones and walkways, but this might be really nice cascading over, say, a rock retaining wall or something to that effect. Really pretty. Look at these gorgeous and moody dark red with a yellow throat daylilies. These are also really tall, gorgeous if you like dark blooms. These are called Daylily Bella Lugosi, or Lugosi. And let's see, they bloom early to midsummer, 24-inch high, and hardy to -30. They have this really pretty garden phlox called Fashionably Early Crystal. I actually follow a flower farmer on Instagram who loves this variety because she does a lot of cut flower arrangements, and I guess the stems get really tall. You know, as you can see here, so these would probably be good for cutting, and they're really pretty. I used to have a lot of phlox in my garden, and I've since taken it out because I just don't like the way that it looks once it's spent. But they are a really beautiful and classic garden flower. And so this variety here, it blooms early to late summer, and it gets 30 to 36 inches tall and wide, and it's hardy to -30, full sun. Some of the older varieties of phlox are likely to get some kind of powdery mildew, but this one looks okay. It might be a newer variety. Look how pretty it looks with that peach heuchera. There's some pink phlox here too. Let's see this one. This one is called Tall Garden Phlox Garden Girls Uptown Girl. It's an upright perennial, full sun, blooms mid to late summer, 28 to 32 inches tall and wide, hardy to -40. Has a really pretty pink bloom. These containers are 3-gallon and they're $19.98. And they got their Sunfinity sunflowers. These are really pretty. They're a multi-stem branching type sunflower, and they will bloom for you all rest of the summer through fall. Really pretty. And so if you don't want to grow your own sunflowers because you're limited on space, you can plop these into a container. They don't get super big, you know, not as tall as the regular ones that get 4 to 8 feet tall. Let's see the specs on them. So here is the Sunfinity sunflower. They're an annual. They do love sun. They're a full sun plant, and they will give you up to 12 weeks of continuous color, easy to grow with little care, long lasting, dozens of cheerful blooms. And they get 24 to 36 inches wide by 36 to 48 inches tall. Water every other day, more frequently during hot, dry weather. And you can give it some plant food. Something like a Miracle Grow or an organic fish emulsion will keep them happy. And here's what I came home with. I got 2 of those Carnival Watermelon Heuchera and this tri-colored European Beech. And it was 50% off, so I paid $44 for this beech tree. Now to find a good home. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one.